2, 3, yeah.
Hey Cardinal team, this is Kara Ottman, your Chief Operating Officer. I am thrilled for you to hear Taylor Woods' Red Talk up next. She's so empowering and she talks through her 3 mantras and how she's used them to navigate through her career and her life. Hope you get as much out of it as I did.
First and foremost, thank you to each and every one of you who has chosen to listen to my Red Talk today. Because let's face it, that was one of the many choices that will make up what this day will fully be for you. I want to start by asking each of you, who do you want to be when you wake up in the morning? And are you confident leaving your home embracing that version of yourself, no matter where you are or what the day entails? If you think about it, we can actually come to the realization that, well, the autonomy of life is the ability to choose for yourself. One thing we get to choose each and every day is the mantra we want to live by. For me, says who is something that I say to myself to serve as a negativity blocker in my life. I realized that at an early age, who I wanted to be would be pivotal in protecting the evolution of Taylor. Now, we're only at the beginning, so you might be asking, how in the world am I going to protect the evolution of me? Don't worry, we'll get to that soon. If you had asked me just who I wanted to be a few years ago, I would have looked at you probably like a deer in headlights, which is strange because, well, the version of myself that I hope so many of you have encountered is a loud, energetic ball of light. But what would you say if I told you that was just the initial choice that I made each and every day? Let's take it back a bit. Sophomore year of high school. Oof. Yep, that's me. I don't know about you, but I was the epitome of a late bloomer. I wanted eagerly to be accepted. And while we had just moved from Kansas to New Jersey, and I'm sure you can already imagine the shock of the differences between the two states. It was a difficult time to adjust, but I knew there was a silver lining, or at least I had hoped so. You see, I didn't realize that even at the young age of 15, kids were already conditioned to pass judgment based on their own environments and what they deemed to be right and wrong. The American Psychological Association even published an article stating that children by the age of 5 make rapid and consistent character judgments of others just based off of facial features alone. So picture this: new school, new state, new surroundings. All I knew to be true were the values that my parents instilled in me. And majority of those revolved around my brothers and I being proud of who we were and without limits. Well, to my surprise, this would not always go over well with others. So one day, while I was waiting for the bus to pull up in front of the school, just so that I could go home for the day, I saw a group of girls I eagerly wanted to introduce myself to. So I walked up to them. Now, present-day Taylor would have been able to read body cues. But you know what they say, you do better when you know better. And I had no idea. Now, before we relive sophomore year with me, let's take a quick look at the psychology at work here. Maslow's hierarchy is a motivational theory that positions fundamental human needs as the building blocks that enable higher level ones. The way it works is that those lower level needs must be met first prior to higher needs being fulfilled. So high school me, I was striving for love and belonging amongst my peers. This means I was a long way away from self-actualization, or, as I put earlier, protecting the evolution of Taylor. So I said something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm Taylor, what's up?" One girl looked at me, and before I could even begin to show who I was, said, "Taylor? That's a white name for a black girl." And all I could say was, well, my mom actually named me Taylor so that I could have the best opportunity. You see, when someone sees my name on a resume, they don't know my race, my gender, or anything about me. All they see is the work. Because, well, that's what she had said all those years ago when I asked about my name. Of course, embarrassed, I let the comment go and proceeded to the bus. And I got to thinking, what gave them the right to pass judgment on me for something as small as my name? This was just the start of realizing that, well, the world can pass judgment, and if you're not okay with who you are, the cruelty can become a new division of your inner self that you never intended it to be. Even to this day, if I'm ever asked why I do what I do and operate the way in which I do, my response without hesitation is, I want to show my brothers that there is room for who they want to be in whatever sector of the world they want to be in. Because being able to learn and believe this was part of me accepting and embracing the inner me. And it started with instances like the story I just told. With every case, I learned a new way to embrace Taylor. Because I had two choices. I could believe without questioning what someone else had said about me, or I could filter the facts and become a new version of myself. So let's fast forward to present day, or really close at least. I joined Cardinal Group a little over 3 years ago. And when I arrived, I had an on-site team lead that had the pleasure of working with me and embraced the version of Taylor that I was at that very moment. They all took the time to coach and develop, and boy, did they have patience. As I journeyed through my career, that little girl who told me I was nothing more than my name kept rearing her head in different forms. Yet I was determined to stay true to the authentic Taylor no matter what. Let's take a second and ask yourself, have you ever considered the power of the stories we tell ourselves? And how often do you let someone else be the author of your own story? There are so many times in my life in which I had heard my presence was overwhelming or my voice was not polished enough for the rooms in which I wanted to walk into. Funny enough, when I became a traveler for Cardinal Group a few years ago, I heard the same grievances from our on-site teams. Not feeling like there was room for them to live in congruence with who they wanted to be and what they wanted to do. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Taylor, yes, we get you, but how? Well, let's take a dive into my 3 pillars and see the evolution of you. Most of us have heard the phrase, I can do bad all by myself, which, well, in theory is true, but why do bad when you can be great with others? You see, some use the phrase, it takes a village when speaking about their family unit. In our professional setting, we harp on networking. If you think about it, both are the same at the end of the day. That being, if you want to reach greatness, you can't shy away from building a village or from asking for help. The Taylor you see today, well, she wasn't the Taylor that started working with Cardinal. That Taylor was spicy. She thought she knew what she wanted and how to get there all on her own. This couldn't have been further from the truth. My on-site village was a group of women who literally snatched me under their wings and refused to let me stay the same each day. But this was just the start. After I was able to grasp and grow, I started to look into other areas of the company where I could gain support additionally. Asking for help is a big part of this first pillar. For me, I landed in one of our BRGs. At this point, I realized I could take what was poured into me and pour it into others. You know, like they say, you don't know the topic until you can teach it to someone else, right? Now, I'm by no means an expert. However, I do believe in paying forward what was paid to you. Joining mentorship programs, attending your team building events, and finding other ways to get involved are great examples of building your professional village. Now, with that comes everyone's favorite topic. Yep, that's right, feedback. Now, you might be thinking, why filter the facts? I know I said earlier that something will always be said about you, so why listen at all? Let's be real. There will always be someone to have something to say, or saying something pertaining to you. However, don't take this as your get-out-of-jail-free card. I learned about Pareto's principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, which maintains that 80% of outcomes come from just 20% of causes. Well, I decided to shake it up a bit and adapt this into how I receive feedback as well. With anything that was said about me or brought to me, I always take it into consideration. 20% of feedback results in 80% of personal growth. The 80-20 rule allows you to prioritize the impact, in this case, the feedback. As we near my favorite part, if you only remember one piece of my message, let it be this. What you are empowers who you are. Let me let you in on a little secret. These mantras or pillars of mine are fluid, and change has been a necessary part of showing up as Taylor, even with my mantras. In order for this last pillar to ring true, you have to understand that everyone comes into the world with different opportunities. Know where you are, know where you want to get to, and how much work will it take to propel yourself to that very next level. Now, the fun part is the work is not constant. Reflecting on self, I chose to put in work I knew I would need to early on in multiple stages. This was to ensure that when I got to that next level, I would be free of conforming to a person that I'm not. As a child, I was taught early on these exact points. I knew I would need to work harder to be given the opportunity that I knew I would live up to. I would ensure that everything was perfect, and I realized that all of this was due to my ability to realize, yes, I'm different. We're all different. And that empowers you to tap into that inner you. So, my question to you all is this. Where in your life are you not being authentic? And what can you do to change that? The reality is that not a soul walking this green earth has the power to change you into something that you're not without you first giving permission. Stand firm in who you are and be open to evolution. I can tell you without a doubt, I will never stop choosing the version of Taylor that makes me most proud. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eli Ruth. I'm a Director of Operations with Cardinal Group Management, and I am very excited to have the opportunity of introducing our next speaker. He's been in leadership roles for approximately 16 years, and whether you're looking for operational expertise, a genuine approach to learning leadership, spontaneous comedic relief, or simply just need help grabbing something from the highest shelf, he's your guy. He's been a leader through pre- and post-pandemic environments and has endlessly placed his teams at the forefront of his thoughts and actions. If you need a leader to help navigate the ever-evolving leadership landscape, then you need look no further than Kyle Medley.
American entrepreneur Jim Rohn stated, "Our life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change." New departments, new positions, and new technology are changing the way we work. Also notably, where we work is changing. As of 2023, 28.2% of team members work in a remote or hybrid work environment model. You yourself may be working in an office with current team members, but fellow colleagues, managers, and even leaders in our company may be located all across the globe. Last December, I was talking to a vendor out of Denver. I then relayed that feedback to a manager in Wisconsin. Hours later, I was discussing the financials with our team in India, and they provided a summary of all the details to our client in Singapore. Our remote reach has never been greater than it is today, and the trends clearly show that movement is not slowing down. In one recent Forbes study, 98% of workers stated they want to work remotely at least some of the time. As companies respond to changing workplace with new policies and innovative technology, I am naturally drawn to the people side of the change. And the same two questions keep jumping to the forefront of my mind. Are we equipping teams to success in a remote workplace? And am I a leader who truly knows how to support remote teams? As I began to research and explore this idea of engaging teams in remote work environments, two interactions between managers and team members became very prevalent. I believe almost everyone has been at least a part of one of these two scenarios. Team members will approach a manager. "I hate to bother you. I know that you're busy. Do you mind if I just steal a second of your time?" On the other hand, managers will approach a team member. "Do you have a sec? Call me when you get a chance." This short action almost comes across as transactional. I get what I need and then I'm done. Is there a time for relationship building or feedback to be given? These interactions happen almost in any work environment, but I feel that the result of these interactions are amplified in a remote work setting. This may be the only interaction of that week with that team member, and the impact and weight of those interactions should not be taken for granted. A study by the Harvard Business Review on remote work environments left me wrestling with three crucial results. 35% of workers with remote managers believe their managers have a lack of self-confidence in their work. 40% of managers express low self-confidence in their ability to manage teams remotely. And lastly, 51% of team members who left their role say it was directly tied to their manager. As I myself grappled with that data and analyzed the way that we currently lead our teams within our own company, one foundational statement came to the forefront. I know this will shape and change the way that I lead my teams, and I hope it resonates with you as well. Busy leaders create workers, but accessible and empowering leaders create future leaders. The natural inclination for most remote managers like myself is to create as many safeguards as possible with checks and balances to make sure all the work is getting done. Task lists, trackers, reminders, meetings, and even quick follow-ups can become the common roadmap to guarantee work is finished. While those workflows and practices in themselves are not inherently bad and often highly productive, if those interactions become the foundation of the remote relationship, or the only interactions happened with that team member, what type of leaders or workers are we truly building? And simply telling remote managers, trust your team members more, is unlikely to be sufficient. Rather, managers need to learn new skills of delegation and empowerment to provide their workers with greater space for creativity, problem solving, and skill development. And in the remote setting, good managers act as enablers and not as enforcers. We cannot escape the tasks and requirements of our roles, but we do control the time and effort or space we devote and create with our team members. Is that space constantly filled with busyness and tasks? Or is that space filled with empowerment, authenticity, and trust being built? The questions need to be answered. What are you going to do with the space you create? My challenge to you is to ask 3 simple questions to start building a better foundation with each team member. What do you want? It sounds simple enough, but do you really know what your team members want out of their current role or even future opportunities? Are we empowering that team member to tell us what they want to go after? Are we putting these goals smack dab in the middle of their vision board? Where do you want to go? And as a manager, how can I help you get there? Secondly, what is important to you? Is it growth? Is it family, stability, or even autonomy? At their core, what truly motivates that team member to do their job? This help creates a more open and honest relationship with that team member. As important as the core values are to us as a company, seek to understand what those core values are to your team members. And lastly, the most important question you can ask your team member, how are you doing? Are you okay? This creates a space for honesty, trust, and opens the door for real dialogue. I tend to think we will pick up on these naturally when our team members start submitting shorter messages or turning off their cameras during meetings. But I challenge you, just ask. Remember that 51% of it cite their relationship with their manager as the reason for them leaving. If we just ask these simple questions with our team members, just think of what the impact we could make on that number. I have a team member that asked several times to leave the office to tend to a family member. You could see every time that something came up, she felt like she had to explain herself, ask for permission. In those times, she felt like she was letting me and her team down. The next step for us was to sit down and ask, how are you doing? Are you okay? The team member in that moment was able to be vulnerable with me about what was going on with her and her family and her role for caring for that family member. I know this created trust in our relationship with that conversation. We came to an agreement. Every time that she mentioned this family member, there was no further explanation needed. She could go, leave work, take care of that, and come back and be her best self. I could immediately see the weight being lifted off her shoulders, and I know this will lead to her being able to be her true self in her role and be the best self for her community and for her team. I know through empowerment and trust, we were able to set something up in place that is so relatively simple, but I know will make a lasting impact for my team member and myself. There are plenty of other strategies I can encourage you to explore in creating intentionality and connections with your teams. But start with those 3 earlier questions. What do you want? What is important? And how are you doing? And remember, don't be a busy leader who creates workers. Be an accessible and empowering leader who creates future leaders.
Hi, I'm Sophie Lopez. I'm the VP of HR in People and Culture. And I have an honor to introduce Alex Newland. I worked with him on his Red Talk on navigating the workplace with hidden disabilities. This is a topic that is not only near and dear to me personally, but also professionally, as I work with team members every day who are dealing with some of the same obstacles that he's endured. So without further ado, here's Alex.
Did you know that 74% of Americans who deal with what society labels as severe disabilities actually bear what are known as invisible disabilities? No wheelchairs, no hearing aids, no visible assistive devices. Nothing to signal the challenges they face daily. In a world where appearances often shape perceptions, these individuals navigate life's complexities with resilience, all while their hidden struggles remain concealed from the outside world. There was a study done at UMass Amherst that revealed approximately 10% of all Americans carry these invisible disabilities, making their existence far more prevalent than we might imagine. On a global scale, roughly 1 in every 8 individuals carries an invisible burden. Now, if we bring these statistics closer to home, that translates to an estimated 148 cardinal team members who come to work every day managing their invisible disabilities. I stand before you today as one of those individuals, offering not just my personal story, but also a perspective that aims to illuminate the world of invisible disabilities. But first, let's define what we mean by invisible disabilities. According to the Invisible Disabilities Association, these are physical, mental, or neurological conditions that may not be evident to you, but can limit or challenge a person's movements, senses, or daily activities. They encompass a wide range of conditions, from mental disorders to epilepsy, hearing impairments to diabetes, ADD and ADHD to dyslexia, and so many more. For me personally, I navigate life with 4 neurological and 2 mental disorders that trigger involuntary muscle spasms in my tongue and throat, sometimes escalating into full facial seizures, dizziness, and loss of use in my arms and legs. These symptoms intensify during times of heightened anxiety and stress. Today, I'm here to share my journey and how I balance my full-time role at work, my responsibilities as a BRG chair, and maintaining a healthy social life through open and honest communication with my team leads and HR professionals. Let's take it back for a moment. In November 2022, I began experiencing strange symptoms, starting with unexpected tongue twitches while talking to team members and residents. Concerned, I quickly scheduled a doctor's appointment, even if it meant missing Thanksgiving with my family. The doctor ran numerous tests, but the actual condition I had wasn't initially considered. Frustrated with the lack of progress, I relocated to Salt Lake City on the advice of my specialists. With their help, I received a diagnosis and a plan to improve my quality of life. Initially, like many with invisible disabilities, I stayed silent out of fear and uncertainty. However, a conversation with one of my mentors here at Cardinal prompted me to seek help from HR under the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. This step led me to a reasonable accommodation that helps me bring my best self to work every day. This journey taught me the power of advocacy, the importance of open dialogue, and what it means to create an inclusive workplace. While I'm still learning each day about my new normal, some things that I have taken away during this journey is to take life one day at a time, live in the moment, speak up, and most importantly, listen to your body and seek professional assistance if you feel something's not right. Why do so many people with invisible disabilities keep their challenges to themselves? Often, it's fear that their conditions might be perceived as obstacles to their career advancement. SHRM, the Human Resources Trade Organization, did a study that revealed nearly 47% of workers with invisible disabilities have not disclosed their disabilities to their workplace, citing various reasons. Of that 47%, 35% believed their coworkers would scrutinize their behavior. 33% believe their coworkers would think they can't do their jobs fully. And 32% believe their coworkers would talk behind their backs. I'm here to debunk that notion. Navigating the workplace with invisible disabilities doesn't hinder your personal growth or success. By nurturing open and honest communication with trusted individuals, whether it's your team lead or HR professional, you can adapt your work environment to meet your needs while continuing to excel and support the business. Now, let's tackle some misconceptions or questions that may arise. First one, how can you be sure someone has an invisible disability? The truth is, you won't know unless they speak up. To encourage openness, we must foster a psychologically safe environment, rooted in core values number 2, building open and honest relationships with communication, and number 4, being a team player and respecting those you work with. Team leaders can cultivate this by actively listening, engaging, and asking questions. Individuals should decide how much they're comfortable sharing. In my case, my strong pre-existing relationship with my team leads made it easier to open up. Their compassion and understanding, even before I requested accommodations, played a pivotal role in my decision to speak out. Number 2, as a leader, you may want to know if you can ask for proof of this invisible disability. Asking for proof of a disability is not permissible. However, if a team member requests a reasonable accommodation, you can guide them to their HR professional to initiate the paperwork required for establishing these accommodations. My journey with an invisible disability led me to seek advice from a mentor who recommended engaging with our HR department to explore options to make my work environment more accommodating to my specific conditions. It was through this process that I became aware of the reasonable accommodations available through our HR department. Number 3, the requests for accommodations are outrageous and will hinder the day-to-day of my community or department. Team leaders alone can't determine accommodations. Medical professionals, HR professionals, and team leaders collaborate to decide reasonable accommodations without causing undue hardship. Personally, it was challenging to open up to my team leads and HR professionals. Admitting that I needed help wasn't easy for someone like me who's more inclined to offer help whenever I can. However, the support I received, not only from them, but also fellow team members, was incredible. Our organization's core values inspired this solidarity, and it empowers me to share my story with you today. Now, I want to encourage and empower team members with invisible disabilities to speak up and request accommodations that can improve their job performance. Having an invisible disability shouldn't limit your potential. Your disability doesn't define you or your career. You have support and advocates, like me, your team leads, and HR professionals, who want to see you succeed. For our team leaders, I challenge you to keep an open door policy and check on your team members frequently. Make sure your team knows you are there to support them and see them grow. This simple action is the first step to team members feeling comfortable and empowered to speak up and ask for help.
All right. Well, hello team. I'm Peter Lynch. I'm here with Alex O'Brien. Welcome to the first edition ever of Hot Takes. Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
Super excited for this.
Like when you go to like somewhere, we won't name a restaurant, but when you go there, what do you order?
Like a wings place,
Yeah.
like a B-dubs or something?
Yeah.
Like a mild buffalo.
Yeah, that's weak.
Like weak, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably teriyaki. Like it's bad. I mean, we're probably gonna really hurt ourselves
Like
today.
sweet chili, something that's not hot
Yes,
at all.
it's not hot. All right, well, I want to start off by willing, let's see, my card to my son. We're going to get through this, Alex. All right.
It'll be interesting to see who's still employed after this.
Yes. All right, so we are starting with our first sauce right here.
All right.
What a Jerk is the name of this sauce. All right, we
I
ready
love
for
that
this?
sauce. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I can feel like I'm watching a Bengals game.
No,
Yeah.
that was a good game last night.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
a little hot. All right.
A little after
Okay. All right. So what's?
Hold on. Okay, it's
You
still
feeling
good.
it now? Yeah.
I was gonna try to swirl at my cheeks, but
Yeah. Don't do that.
okay.
So what's the most bizarre or amusing office decoration you have on your desk or in your office?
Probably the Marine Corps sword that I received a long time ago, and it definitely gets a lot of responses on Zoom videos. people are like, is that a sword behind you?
People get a little nervous when they walk in.
Yeah, especially if you're sharpening it, which gives people a lot of concern. So
that's awesome. All right, so this is a really serious question, really important. I want you to think for a second. So if you had to banish one of your brothers to a deserted island, who would it be and why?
Of my brothers that work here, or all of my brothers?
Well, let's start with.
Actually, that answer's the same. So I think John. One, just because I think just to see if his hair would be able to stay that like well done on an island, like with all that humidity. I think he also has the best chance for survival, so part of that would be, playing the odds a little bit of could he make it back.
Oh, nice.
Mike, I don't think would make it from the banished island. That's just not his jam. He can do a lot of things. Surviving on the deserted island does not seem like that would be good.
Yeah, not so much, right? Not so
John
much.
would be straight up Tom Hanks talking to the volleyball, like just like weird, but I think would make it.
Yeah, I do too. John and Wilson. All right. Are we ready? We're going to take bite number 2 here. That first one, was that more or less than you thought?
That was easy.
No. Nice.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I like to get overly confident and then totally.
All right, we ready for number 2?
What do we got here? King Scotch Bonnet hot sauce. All right, here we go.
Okay. Smells hot.
Oh yeah, it smells way worse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, starts a little hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, ends a lot hotter. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, these
that's
are,
good.
this is bad.
That's so good.
Mm.
When it hits your lips, it's really good. Yeah.
Don't touch the face.
Oh, man. Yeah,
was...
time for a napkin, I think. All right, so while your mouth is screaming, what's one thing from old Cardinal days that you wish we still did or had?
Oh.
You can't say chia pets, by the way.
The Dow glued chia pets. I don't like the term old Cardinal and new Cardinal. I think there's just Cardinal in my mind, but I do think it's been a hell of a journey and a lot of fun along the way. And I do like, we used to do a lot more celebration of, I think it was called like diamonds and diapers and down payments or mortgages. It was kind of just this like individual celebration of, and I hope that's not too hard to bring back, but it was just a fun way to, hold on. Wow. To celebrate like individual achievements. I also think we just got together a lot. It was just fun. People were always around, and hopefully that can still happen in small teams and everything. But just a lot of camaraderie, a lot of excitement, and so that can't be old Cardinal. That's got to be all Cardinal, and people just that really enjoy working together. So. Yeah.
All right, so this is Fusion.
Woo! All right. Oh, the Reaper. That sounds...
Yeah, Reaper.
That sounds scary.
All right, ready?
All right.
Oh, man, there's a lot of sauce on this
Oh,
one.
my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. God damn.
Yeah, that hit right away. Are you going to take a second bite?
I think you have to do 2 bites to be official, but oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. I almost speak for that one.
Yeah. All right, let me get this question out before I choke.
Oh, my God.
What is one piece of advice?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, go ahead.
What is one piece of advice you would share with your younger you?
Don't do the frickin' wing thing. Oh. One day someone's gonna ask you to eat wings.
Yeah.
They're hot as shit. Don't do it.
That's right.
Oh my God. Let me collect myself. God. I think I've been really hard on myself and on members of the team at times, but it's really easy to be hard on yourself, but then not reciprocate the success, and be excited. And so I think for any journey, you got to enjoy the wins. Even if you're going to criticize the losses, you got to enjoy the wins.
Nice.
And I think that I focused a lot on the losses and how we can get better and all those things, but didn't always really take time to be like, these wins were just as important. And so
All right, so we're going on to number 4. All right, so what's number 4 here? What do we got?
Mr. Payne.
Oh, Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne, Mr. Payne.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that smells so hot.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Don't think about it.
No. I'll touch my lip. Wait.
Mr. Payne as advertised. Oh, my God.
Oh my God. It tastes a little like gas.
If you spit it in your napkin,
Yes.
no one will know. Oh, my God. Oh.
Ah, that's really good. What do you want the Cardinal leadership team to look like in the next 5 years and beyond?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh.
That is awful.
God, I'm good. I'm not going to drink that milk yet. Oh.
I'm sorry. Can you hold your hand out?
Oh, my God.
I'm shaking.
Oh. You're going to have to repeat that question. Holy moly.
What do you
Don't
want?
breathe either. That doesn't help. Oh, my God.
What do you want the Cardinal leadership team to look like in the next 5 years and beyond?
Oh, my God. This should be a serious answer, and I'm getting to it. Just the amount of talent we have is unbelievable. Yeah. The amount of, and these are just leaders among leaders, people well respected in their fields. So I think that's awesome. But I think some of the best things we've done as we've focused on the growth of the business is to focus on really strategic focus on our hiring strategies. And so, it's not just, it's a lot of things, but, assuming it's all the best and talented people, but we've had great internal promotions. We've also attracted external talent. Yeah. We've been able to really diversify our candidate pool, which has, really allowed, better choices in both the hiring and promotion decisions. It's probably my most proud thing about Cardinal is just the team we've built. And when I say leaders, I think the one thing people have to remember, we need leaders at every level of the organization. Leaders are not someone with a C-suite or a VP title. Yeah. Leaders are who act like leaders. Yeah. I always say, if you want to know who's the leader, you want to know who's in charge, look for who's acting like it. Yeah. It's but we need leaders on site, the regional level, the portfolio level, in each division and so it's not just in 5 years we're going to have the best VP team ever, which we already do, and that's great. We need leaders at every part of the organization.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, let's see.
Sorry if I looked like I was gonna faint.
The Southern redneck, totally inappropriate.
Yeah, completely inappropriate. Are we ready for number 5?
Oh. All right.
All right. See, you're stalling right now.
I'm just reading. It's the same company. I knew it. I was wondering, is this a real company?
Yeah.
It's just the same company that sells one bottle of
awful human beings work at this company.
Yeah, this is the worst place to work company.
All right, smell it.
No. Oh, dear God. Huh. Oh, my God. Don't do it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I don't think I can take a second bite.
Ask your freaking question. Oh, my God.
I'm going to ask it in long form.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
With so many team members becoming comfortable with their work from home schedules, what sort of incentives do you think are necessary to create momentum to return to the office? That is the hottest thing we've ever eaten.
Oh, my God.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Well, one, a lot of our teams are not remote. Majority of Cardinal team members go to work every single day and working on site. That is our team. The majority of our team is still on site every day. I do think that flexibility is a huge amenity, and that's one reason we like centralization, is to be able to offer that amenity to all of our team members, not just those that are in kind of headquarters or or corporate roles or whatever. And so I think we actually do value flexibility. So the whole goal isn't what can we do to get everyone back in office, whatever that in office is. We have remote team members all over the country. And so what we want to do is provide the best work environment wherever you are.
Yeah.
And so our hope is specifically in, certain cities where we have a consolidation or a big group of people, and Denver being the most obvious one, of like, we want a great work environment that incentivizes people to come in. And so I always think being around your teammates is the best incentive you can have.
Yeah.
Being around people that care about you care about. And so, all this stuff's great, and whatever that thing's called, the foosball, that's cool, and there's a keg and all that. Like, that's all fine, and that just like facilitates certain things. But the truth is, like, the best incentive is to want to be around your teammates.
Yeah.
And so whatever we can do to help people connect so they want to be around their teammates, that's all I really care about.
That's awesome. So you do know the challenge, right?
To eat it.
Well, there's more than that. It's called as my kids would love it if I did, the dab challenge. So
that's not a dab. The dab.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So the dab challenge, we got to dab a little on.
All right.
And then eat it. So what's the
so
name
an
of the
extra dab of this.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh my God. So there's just a little, or
All depends.
Here, I'll put it on yours. Here, you put it on mine first.
Oh,
and
so
then however much this will be.
You can tell you have young kids.
Yes. And then depending on
one cut, the other choose.
Not too much though, seriously.
Are you afraid?
You're shaking.
I know I'm shaking. My mouth is exploding. I have a chili flake on my tonsil.
All right, that's good.
There. You better.
I got you, player.
Oh, that was way more.
All right, I'll get myself here.
Oh my Lord.
Oh gosh, I can't.
Look how you're shaking. Talk about me shaking.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna eat around. Do you spread that in though? That looks intimidating. There we go. All right. That was more than a dab.
Oh, that was more than a dab. I'm really scared about this. Are we ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. No.
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
No. I'm fake chewing right now.
No joke. Oh my God. Oh, my wife told me she's only seen me cry twice in my life. Once, the birth of my son Colton. Second, 2015, when the Bengals lost to the Steelers in the AFC wild card.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I think this is happening. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't know if milk on the head hurts, but I'm going to try it because that is hot.
Oh God.
Oh my Lord.
God, I feel bad for Joe, who just lost her job.
Yeah.
Oh
Me
my
too.
God. Oh my God. Oh, dear Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can ask the question. You haven't drank anything.
Oh. Oh.
Lemonade
All right.
bad. What is one? Oh man. What is one of the biggest failures in your opinion as a Cardinal so far? How have we overcome it?
What is this?
Oh my gosh. I hate people right now. I'm the chief people officer and I hate people right now. Oh my God.
I can't do this right now.
I can't either.
All right. Let's try this again.
I can't.
All right, the biggest failures?
Yeah. Go with that.
Oh my God. I mean, we've won a lot, so.
Yeah.
And we've grown a lot, we've learned a lot, so
Agreed.
a ton. A ton to like
Let's go. We won a lot. Sorry.
Woo! Let's go.
We win all the time. Winning's good.
I mean, I think the failures have to come back to the people who worked here who didn't think this was the best place to work. You know, we had the wrong support. We had the wrong managers. You know, we didn't create the right environment. We didn't create the right support. You know, whatever that is. Like, if our mission is around our people, then our biggest failures have to be around the same.
You don't have to cry.
Secondly, for all the residents. No, I'm serious. For all the residents, you know, we're trying to, like, we work in people's homes, you know, so for every apartment not turned correctly, for every move-in experience that didn't go well, for every work order, like, when we disappoint a customer, that's a failure. And you can back that out into all kinds of stuff that didn't happen, but at the end of the day, like, when we disappoint a customer, like, that should be the, like, ouch moment.
Yeah, disappointment. Close it up. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Go ahead.
Well, Alex, thanks for joining us on Hot Takes. This was
season 1.
Yeah, this was season 1, episode 1.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Grand finale.
Grand finale
yes.
all at
So
once.
thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you again, never.
Hi there, I'm Katie Twilliger, People Operations Manager, and ready to be back for Red Talks Round 3. Performance management can make or break team member growth and development. And Jamie is excited to share her individualized and passionate approach to growing your teams. Get ready, it's time to own your career.
I want to pursue my career growth, but where do I start? How can I focus on my career development? And who can help me achieve my goals? Good thing I'm here to answer these questions. Hi, I'm Jamie Bennett, and I'm the Travel Support Manager right now here at Cardinal. I run a team of up to 29 travelers and have supported 68 during my time in this role. I'm here to talk with you about taking ownership of your career and supporting your team with their career goals. So what tools are actually out there to accomplish your career goals? Here at Cardinal, we have a performance management platform for goal setting to assist with your career development. But what is performance management? By definition, performance management is the process of maintaining and improving job performance through setting goals, providing and receiving support and feedback, and making your professional dreams come true. But it's so much more than that. It's pursuing growth and knowledge. It's supporting team members to become their best selves and the excitement of getting closer to your career goals or cheering on your team as they take their next steps. Let me take you back in time. It's 2019, you've been in your role for about a year and maybe talk to your manager once a month. You have one annual review meeting as well. All year, you thought you were hitting expectations. You go to this meeting to be given a list of areas of improvement and pre-established goals to meet. You leave the meeting caught off guard, feeling defeated, and probably a little angry. Well, good thing it's not like that anymore. The way we work and our expectations have radically changed over the last few years. We're no longer just punching a clock for a paycheck or going through the motion of our jobs. According to the Washington Post, team members want to do more meaningful work with a sense of autonomy, flexibility, and work-life balance. Meaning, we want to do more with our work life. We want to wake up each morning and actually enjoy what we're going to be doing for the next 8 hours. We want relationships with team members that we can laugh with, lean on for help, and cheer us on when we crush it on a project or presentation. We want our managers to trust us, to get our work done without micromanaging, and allow us to take an active role in the decisions that impact us. So, how did I bring these values to life when shifting from a team member to a manager? I started with taking an individual approach to each team member. This can be challenging depending on the size of your team. Trust me, I know. But it's so important when it comes to being a supportive manager. Individualization doesn't come naturally to everyone. Honestly, I struggled with this at the beginning because individualization isn't even in my top 10 strengths on Strength Finders. But I had to dig in and make this a focus to best support my team. I prioritized time to get to know each of my team members. I reviewed their Strength Finders assessments with them and asked directed questions of where they want to go and why. By better understanding what motivates my team and what aids them in doing their best work, I've been able to encourage them to take their next steps. I previously had a team member who was a traveling leasing manager, who I encouraged to consider becoming a traveling community manager when a spot opened up. I knew she had the knowledge and skills to be successful in the role. She was hesitant initially, but decided to go for it, knowing I was there to support her. In just a few months of starting her new role, she was promoted to a regional and spoke about her journey at our summer development program earlier this year. After I got to know my team, it was time to provide performance feedback. Providing feedback is a fantastic way to highlight what your team members are doing well, and also a way to provide valuable insight into areas they can improve upon. I establish a strong feedback loop with my team, offering feedback even when they're probably not looking for it. I offer daily office hours, feedback on deliverables, and consistent performance reviews. A study by Gallup found that team members who receive feedback on their strengths are 12.5% more productive. Could you imagine if your team was 12.5% more productive? Think of the accomplishments and impact your team members can make at your organization just by giving them feedback and praise when they utilize the strengths that come naturally to them. This study also found that regular check-ins can increase profitability by 21%. Just by prioritizing a quick 30-minute check-in can increase the organization's profitability by 21%. This is because team members that have engaged managers in their work are 59% less likely to look for a new job in the next year. So why is providing feedback so important? Well, aside from investing in the growth of your team members to achieve their goals, engaged team members are what make the culture of an organization strong. The team members at Cardinal are Cardinal's most valuable asset. Now that we've talked about the manager's role in performance management, as a team member, how do you grow yourself? Own your own career. I'll say it again. Own your own career. No one is gonna do it for you. I started in this industry in college as a marketing assistant because I lived at the community and I needed money. I found that I actually enjoyed the role, so I started as a leasing manager right before graduation. But once in that role, I honestly didn't know if this was something I wanted to do as a career. So I decided to leave the industry, take a risk, and move out west. Out in Montana, I worked at a dental office, but I didn't feel fulfilled. I realized I wanted more out of my career, and I took action. I applied for the travel team and came back to Cardinal. From there, I became the first travel team member, senior operations support manager, and now travel support manager in just 3 years. Because I realized I wanted to make a larger impact, continue to grow professionally, and utilize the strengths to make it happen. I say all this because you can make your goals a reality too. Career growth and development, it starts with you. Ask yourself what your manager would ask you. What do I enjoy in my current role and why? What kind of role do I want to be in by the next year? And which areas do I need to fine-tune in my toolbox to make this happen? Manifest what you want. Speak it into existence. Positive affirmations boost self-confidence and enhance your ability to sustain the behaviors that make the affirmation a reality. Share your wants and goals with your manager. If you want to become a community manager, tell someone. If you want to become a portfolio manager, tell someone. And if you want to become a property accountant, tell someone. Your manager can't help you unless they know what you want. If you're interested in learning more about reporting, asset management, or marketing, speak up to get added to a project that involves those areas. You also can shadow a manager in a role that you would like to be in one day. Or reach out to another department to learn more about their day-to-day to see if that's something that would be a good fit. But also, acknowledge areas within yourself you can grow and develop. Be humble and authentic. No one is perfect at everything. Recognize and own the areas that you want to grow, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't wait for your manager to tell you their ideas for your career. Go to your manager with what you want to achieve. So, if you only remember one thing from our time here today, pay attention to this. Everyone is striving for career development, and it starts with you. Within the next 30 days, I challenge you to utilize the tools that Cardinal offers, like our performance management platform, to set the goals that you want to achieve. As a manager, if you don't already have a weekly 30-minute one-on-one with your team members, I encourage you to make it a priority. Meet with them to take a personalized approach where you provide a consistent feedback loop and support their growth. As a team member, prioritize yourself by setting goals that you want to achieve that will drive your career track, and then bring these goals to your manager. The team members at Cardinal are Cardinal's biggest strength. The focus on growth and development is essential in meeting Cardinal's mission to make this place the best place to work in any industry for anyone, anywhere.
Did I make it? Did I miss it? Did I miss Katie's thing? Did I miss it? She's up next. Oh, thank God. She's gonna tell us about how to be a working parent, and I got kids, and it was a morning. So you need to hear what she's got to say. I need to hear it because I don't know what I'm doing. So Katie, please help me.
As a working parent, do you ever feel like you're playing the ultimate game of Survivor? Each day brings a new challenge, and you're pushing through every obstacle to reach the finish line. 2 in 5 workers are parents with children under 18, so you know you aren't alone. But the challenges can be brutal and make you feel like you're living on an island trying to stay afloat. Well, today I stand before you to discuss a topic that touches the hearts and minds of countless individuals around our organization: the balancing act of being a working parent. My story might resonate with so many of you, one that's filled with triumphs, struggles, and an unwavering quest for balance, in a world that often seems determined to pull us in every direction but the right one. If you had asked me 12 years ago to give a Red Talk about being a working parent, I would have found it amusing or unlikely. I used to be far from the image of composure that many see today. Truth is, I'm still trying to find that balance. I've worked many jobs since I was a kid, dating back to the 1st grade when I would pretend I was sick. My mom taught me lessons early by bringing me to her office the whole day and making me file never-ending paperwork. I have a lot to be grateful for, and I credit my work ethic to what I witnessed my mom do throughout my entire childhood. It's not uncommon to find working parents stuck in a bind that they have to bring their kids to work, but it isn't easy. Looking back from what I know now, my mom probably had the same anxiety I had when the only option was to bring my daughter to the office. I witnessed both our on-site and HQ parents struggle to find the balance, afraid of what their team leads would say or think, knowing they had to pick up their kid early from school or daycare because they coughed or sneezed in class and they had no other choice. My first ask of you is this: be understanding and non-judgmental when a team member has to bring their kid to work. It's often a last-minute decision after a series of attempts to manage the situation. In my early 20s, I believed I had all the answers, partied excessively, and worked in the service industry while facing difficulties in staying in college or planning for my future. Things took a turn when I became a 23-year-old single mom and a college dropout. Shortly after, I stumbled upon the world of student housing, working as a full-time leasing agent to make ends meet. Things didn't start so great for me in this industry, sharing a 1-bedroom apartment with a toddler and struggling to pay the bills. Statistics show that children in single-parent households graduate college at a 26% lower rate than those raised by both parents. However, I was determined to give my daughter the life she deserved and to not let her be just another statistic because of the choices I made. I was hired on by my regional manager, who I still to this day look up as a mentor. She was just a couple of years older than I was, and she started in student housing as a community intern when she was in college. She told me the possibilities were endless in this industry, so I knew if I put in the work, the reward was going to be worth it. There were many challenges along the way, which included working after hours, doing bar nights, holding late-night call centers, and resident events. It's not that working parents don't want to show up, it's just not always that easy to find after-hour care. Programs like care.com weren't always around like they are now. So my advice, reach out to HR and get the most out of this benefit. Trust me, you'll thank me later. I showed up to work every day, never called out, and didn't take full advantage of my PTO. Despite that, my community manager at the time pulled me into her office just a couple of months into my new role as a leasing agent, sat me down, and told me, maybe student housing isn't right for you. Words like these happen more than you think in the workplace. According to a recent study by Good Hire, 82% of workers said that they would potentially quit their job because of a bad manager. I was determined to use that negative feedback as fuel to continue driving me forward. I challenge you to take a step back and think before you speak, because you never know the impact of your words might have on a team member. Less than a year into my career, I met my now husband, who became an incredible source of support. I say without a doubt that I wouldn't have made it in my career without my people. My family was an hour away, so it was comforting to have someone else to talk to other than my 2-year-old. When I was presented with an irresistible offer to go from a leasing agent to an assistant community manager, his support gave me the confidence to make that leap. I was told that if I wanted to grow rapidly in this industry and I was willing to put in the work, moving to Baton Rouge would be my big break. The initial months after relocating were far from easy, with numerous obstacles along the way. However, every challenge I encountered only made me stronger. Relocating offered endless possibilities, and as I advanced to the role of the community manager a year later, I was faced with even greater demands, with work constantly intruding on family time. Late night reports quickly took away from bedtime stories, and after-hour team meetings meant less playtime with my child. I was exhausted. This juggling act was a common struggle for working parents. At the age of 4, my daughter hit me with a question. "Mom, why are you always working and not playing with me?" This one sentence prompted me to reassess my priorities. This moment marked a turning point, and I started to redefine what work-life balance meant to me. I made the decision to leave work at the office and ultimately parted ways with a company that didn't align with my values. Fast forward to 2019. I was a regional leasing manager, a dream job I'd worked so hard to get. The progress I'd been making for the last 5 years was finally starting to come together, until out of nowhere, my team and I received the unsettling news that we would no longer be managed by our current company, and Cardinal Group would be taking over. At 9 months pregnant and having made significant career strides, I was faced with uncertainty. The question of whether I'd have a job on October 14th weighed heavily on my mind. A colleague of mine made a comment to me that I will never forget. "What are you gonna do? You know they won't take you because you're pregnant." Again, another negative comment that could have ultimately halted me in my career, but I kept going. Cardinal Group embraced me during a challenging time, even when I was 9 months pregnant. Just 2 weeks into the transition, I embarked on my fully paid 3-month maternity leave, a period of complete disconnection from work. Cardinal's commitment to this blackout period allows team members to bond with their babies. I often hear from team members that they didn't take full advantage and did leave early. 3 months might seem like a significant amount of time, but you'll be back to your normal routine just like you never left. My challenge to you, team members, advocate for yourselves and utilize this amazing benefit. Team leads establish a culture and trust and empathy that allows your teams to take full advantage of the 90 days guilt-free. Shortly after returning from leave, COVID hit, turning life upside down for everyone. It was an immense challenge for working parents from all over the world as we began juggling homeschool, working full-time, and the stress that came along with it. So many working parents have felt this fear and uncertainty, with 69% of the workforce believing that working mothers are more likely to be passed over for a promotion. Surprisingly, amidst it all, I found out I was expecting my 3rd child, a pregnancy that wasn't planned. Now, here I was, pregnant with my 2nd Cardinal baby in less than a year, trying to get my feet back on the ground. And I had to face my leaders yet again and tell them that my time would be limited. Much to my surprise, they were completely supportive, which drew me closer to them and to Cardinal. In addition to the community I was building with my team and my leaders, I found common ground in the Working Parents BRG. A year ago, when we founded this group, we sent out a survey to all members and asked, "What topics would you like to see discussed?" The responses were overwhelmingly focused on work-life balance, with 65% of respondents highlighting and juggling this act. I proudly served as the chair of the BRG for a year, helping working parents and allies alike build a dialogue around our shared values and challenges. I urge you to be intentional about finding your own work-life balance, even if it's just an hour a day. It doesn't have to be right at 12 p.m. For me, it's a 9 a.m. spin class that I attend in the mornings. You'd be surprised how energizing just 1 hour of you time can be. Throughout my career, I've had many regrets, some of which I'll never be able to rectify, like missing my son's first birthday. I was too concerned about how it might impact my career that I didn't advocate for myself. But the only one it truly hurt was me and my son. These experiences have inspired me to be the kind of leader others look up to. I do not question team members' time off requests, and I push them to never be afraid to take time away to be present for school functions. I aim to support my teams in doing the same for their families as I do for mine. So let us continue this collective journey with an open heart, supporting one another, sharing our experiences, and fostering a world where being a working parent is not seen as a hindrance, but a source of strength and inspiration. Utilize our wonderful benefit programs. Lead with empathy and understanding, and build supportive communities. Let us work together to end the game of Survivor.
I'm thrilled to introduce Trey Griffin and his fantastic Red Talk on how to challenge yourself to go beyond just being an ally to become an accomplice. Trey's message is especially important at Cardinal, where we truly believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion make us better, and where we want to be the best place to work for anyone in any industry. Trey's talk has helped me to rethink how I approach my role, to go beyond just being an ally, to do better and be better. I'm confident that you will all come along for this self-reflection journey once you're through listening to Trey, and we'll all grow to become accomplices together. Without further delay, here is the inspiring and incredible Trey Griffin.
We live in a time where the call for equality and justice is louder and more insistent than ever before. Our workplaces are a microcosm of the world where these principles are upheld and actively propagated. Today, I want to talk to you about a shift in perspective, from being an ally to becoming an accomplice in the workplace. As you listen to this Red Talk, if you feel anything other than joy, excitement, inspiration, or maybe the light bulb just doesn't go off for you, I ask that you sit with it before you respond or comment. Sit with that feeling and interrogate it, because your feeling has very little to do with me or anything that I'm going to say, but it has everything to do with you. Let me start with a story. Earlier this year, I was at the company's leadership summit, and during the keynote speaker's question and answer session, a Black team member, let's call her Beyonce, raised her hand, and I noticed that the speaker repeatedly called on others who raised their hand before Beyonce. Now, as an ally, one could have privately supported Beyonce later, expressing empathy and offering encouragement, but instead, I saw another team member choose to be an accomplice. This team member, who happened to be a white woman, raised her hand to ask a question. Afterwards, she said, "But before you answer my question, would you please answer hers?" Pointing to Beyonce. What that team member did was amplify Beyonce's presence and ensure that she was seen, heard, and valued. The impact of that was immediate. A shift in dynamics, increased respect, a stronger team, and it demonstrated the power of being an accomplice rather than just an ally. In this age, it is not just enough to be an ally. Now you might wonder, why an accomplice? This very term seems to carry a negative connotation associated with crime, and we know we shouldn't be committing a crime. But that's exactly it. We need to think about it emotively. If I call my best friend and say, "Yo, Tisha, I need you to come help me take care of something, like right now," she is jumping in her car en route to me, knowing just from the tone of my voice that there's some risk-taking happening. I need her, and whatever it is needs to get done. If I call her and say, "Hey, I need you to be my ally," she's gonna respond, "Okay, how can I support you?" She doesn't have to take any risk. She doesn't have to get in the fight at all. So let's reclaim and redefine the term accomplice for the cause of social justice. Allies are important. They lend their voices to causes. They show solidarity. They're necessary for change. Allies can sometimes be performative. Yes, performative. Focused on optics rather than tangible impact. An accomplice is someone who actively participates, who is engaged, who takes risk. Accomplices just don't voice their support. They show it through their actions. They don't just sympathize, they empathize. They just don't stand by you, they stand with you. They are not just aware of their privilege, they use it to effect change. Being an accomplice means creating a culture of inclusion, not just through words, but action. It means advocating for policies that support diversity and equality. It means standing up against microaggressions, discrimination, or bias, even when it is uncomfortable. It means using one's positional power to open doors for those who have historically been marginalized. It means challenging the status quo, even if it stirs up waves. Accomplices recognize that true change requires disruption. They actively listen, educate themselves, and challenge their own biases. They use their privilege to amplify marginalized voices and advocate for equity. Accomplices understand that workplace culture is not solely the responsibility of those experiencing marginalization, but a collective effort by everyone. So, how can we transition from being allies to becoming accomplices in the workplace? Here are a few key steps. 1, self-reflection. Acknowledge your own biases and privilege. Reflect how they manifest in your thoughts, actions, and decision-making. I'm sure we've all had a resume come across our desk and it was a name that was difficult to pronounce and we slid it to the side. That's a bias. Yeah. 2, educate yourself. Engage in continuous learning about diverse experiences, histories, and social issues. Seek resources, books, and podcasts that challenge your perspectives. Hey, and for Gen Z, TikTok is a great choice. But remember, it is your responsibility to educate yourself, and it is not the responsibility of the marginalized group to educate you. 3, amplify marginalized voices. Use your platforms to uplift and promote the voices and ideas of marginalized team members. Share credit and recognize their contributions openly. If a team member gives you a great idea and you take it back to the boardroom and the portfolio loves it and the team loves it, give credit where credit is due. Recognize that team member. 4, call out injustice. Take action when you witness discrimination, microaggressions, or exclusionary practices. Speak up, even if it feels uncomfortable. Silence perpetuates the problem. 5, share the burden. Take on the emotion and laborious work of challenging systems of oppression. Support marginalized individuals by sharing the burden of advocacy and actively working towards systemic change. Have that conversation. Get involved. Use the resources. Join our business resource groups. That's what they're there for. Being an ally is important, but being an accomplice takes us a step further. It's about moving from passive support to active engagement. By becoming accomplices, we have the power to create lasting change, foster inclusivity, and dismantle systemic barriers. You may have a seat at a table that I may not be invited to. You may be in rooms that I may not have access to. This isn't just for me or you or you. It is for all of us. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Remember, being an accomplice requires education, self-reflection, action, and accountability. It's not always easy, but it is necessary for building a more equitable and just workplace. The whispers of those who aren't marginalized are louder than the cries of the marginalized. So challenge yourself to go beyond being an ally and embrace the role of becoming an accomplice. It's time.